Jim Rideout and family from Long Pond. 3 of the Rideout brothers, Jim, Tom, and Frank, were farmers in Long Pond from the 1920s to the late 1960s. The brothers each had a small acreage in Long Pond, but most of their crops were grown on their gardens in Fowler's Road. In 1938, along with their brother Steve, they purchased 160 acres on Fowler's Road for the sum of $500. That sum of money was not readily available to small farmers at that time, but brother Steve had been working in the United States for some time and was able to send them the money to make the purchase. They each repaid their share over the next few years. Another brother, Bob, was not involved in the farming in CBS. He moved to Mount Pearl at an early age and did some farming in that area. Money was always scarce, but they always had enough food, even during the Depression of the 1930s. And my grandfather was always proud that he never had to go on the dole. The Ridge, property on Fowler's Road, was divided up equally between the 4 of them. However, Steve never farmed his portion. He spent the rest of his life in California. My grandfather, Jim's Long Pond operation, bordered on the shore of Long Pond and extended up to where Dominion Supermarket parking lot is now located. His farm was a market garden. This supplied vegetables to the surrounding area and to the city of St. John's. In later years, he traveled as far as Buena Vista in search of a market for his produce. He grew a variety of vegetables and also raised pigs and poultry. In the 1950s, he expanded his operation into dairy farming as well. He sold milk door to door around the community and also sold to Kelsey's Dairy on Kenmount Road in St. John's. In those days, farming was very labor intensive. As a result, the whole family worked long hours, especially during the growing season. However, there was a great deal of work to be done all year round. There was always lots of work to be done, but nothing was done on Sunday except milking the cows and tending to the animals' needs. My grandmother, Pearl, and their 2 daughters, Edna and Jean, shared housework, but they were also very much involved in the farm work as well. At that time, the housework was a small part of the daily chores of the women in the family. My grandmother died in 1950, and in 1955, my grandfather married Flory Morgan from Port de Grave. She also shared in the farm work, in addition to her household chores. At various times in their lives, their sons Clayton and Merv worked on the farm. Although everyone worked hard, money was scarce. So, to supplement their income, they rented out the living room and a bedroom to visitors from St. John's every summer. Most often, people came for a week or so and ate with the family and did whatever to enjoy farm life. You could call it the first Airbnb. In later years, Clayton also made his living from the farm in partnership with his father. It was then that Clayton built a second barn and they increased the number of livestock. They also cleared several more acres on the ridge to make the farm economically feasible for 2 families. In early years, the horse was the only help for the family. They always had a sturdy and reliable horse who was treated like a member of the family. It wasn't until 1952 that Jim and Tom bought a tractor between them. This Massey Harris tractor was shared between the 2 families for many years. In the late 1950s, Clayton bought a 1939 John Deere tractor to help with the growing demand for equipment. Clayton farmed with his father until 1966, when he took a job with the Newfoundland Power Commission. At that time, Jim got out of the dairy business and considerably reduced the vegetable production. However, Jim continued growing vegetables for the family use until he was well into his 70s. My grandfather and his family have a long history in the town of CBS and have always been supporters of the less fortunate in the community.